ओम गणानां त्वा गणपतिगुं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पतानः शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनं श्रीमहागणाधिपतये नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। Om. Dear friends, we have been reading the Bhashyam of the 50th shloka of 18th chapter. Siddhim prapto yatha brahma tathapnoti nibodha me samasenaiva kaunteya nishtha jnanasya ya para. So that is the thing. The context is a person whose mind is disciplined. How is it that he is going to attain Brahma? Initially, that jnana prapti yogyata lakshana, that is, one becomes eligible to sit in that higher class. Then subsequently he actually attains that thing. So we are in that stage. We have come to the last line of that say Bhashyam. In the last class we were seeing say avidya dhyaropana. So in the last class we were seeing this point, nacha dehadi achetanarthatvam shakyam kalpayitum. All these things we have read. Tasmad yatha swadehasya parichedayana pramanantara apeksha tatopya atmanantaramatvat tad avagatim prati na pramanantara apeksha ityatmagyananishta vivekinam suprasiddha. This is the line which we read. So the meaning of this line is, just as yatha swadehasya, just as in order to know your own body, there is no need for another pramana. Pramanantara apeksha means need for another pramana, need for another valid means of valid knowledge. There is no need for another pramana. There is no means. There is no need for somebody else to say that you exist. So similarly, tasmadapi tatopyantaratamatvat. This atma is, this self is something. The notion of I is something which is much closer than the body. So there is no need for somebody to say that you exist, because the notion that I exist is something which is very much known to me. So there is no pramanantara apeksha. Iti atmagyananishta vivekinam suprasiddha. So this notion of I is something which is so well known. There is no need to further elaborate. So that is what he says. So from here we have to read. Let us read the next line. Yesham nirakaram jnanam aprathyaksham. तेषामपि ज्ञानवशैव ज्ञेयावगतिः इति ज्ञानम् अत्यन्तं प्रसिद्धं सुखादिवदेव इत्यभ्युपगन्तव्यम् जिज्ञासानुपपत्तेश्च. Okay. Yesham say nirakaram jnanam. So even for those who say that jnana is something which is apratyaksha, jnanam is apratyaksha, even when you say that, even for them, teshamapi, even for them, jnanavasha eva jneya avagatihi. So there is a jneyam. Jneyam is an object to be known. Jneyasya avagatihi means the knowledge of that jneyam, the knowledge of that particular object. The knowledge of that particular object is happening jnanavashaiva, because you are having that knowledge. Because of that jnana only you are able to know that this jneya. Jnanavashayeva jneya avagatihi. Even this object is cognized only because of the jnanam which you have. And so that is how jnanam is something which is very much prasiddham, which is so well known, immediately known. Jnana is something which is immediately known. Sukhadivat, he gives an example. Jnanam atyantam prasiddham. It is so immediately known. Sukhadivadeva. Sukhadiv, just as you feel happy or you feel unhappy, sukha dukkha, these are something which are immediately known, like that. Iti abhyupagantavyam, one has to agree. Abhyupagantavyam is one has to agree that this is something which is immediately known. Jnana, with the fact that there is something, the fact that we are having some jnanam is something which is so immediately known. And all the jneyavagati, that is knowledge of any object, is only by that jnanam. So that is also very well known. So then jignasa anupapattescha. Then jignasa means jnatum ichha, the desire to know. The jignasa anupapattescha means Then, so suppose I know this pen. Through what? Through jnanam. And in order to know jnanam, is there any other jignasa? In order to know that I have jnanam, is there any other jignasa? Is there any other further means? There is no further means to know that I have jnanam. So jignasa anupapattesya. There is no jignasa. Perception is something which directly happens, and then there is no question of further inquiry into that. The moment I see something, perception is something which automatically happens. It just happens. There is no further inquiry into that. Jignasa anupapattesya. Anupapatti means the question does not arise. Anupapatti. The question does not arise. Then aprasiddham chet jnanam jnyeyavat jignasyeta यथा ज्ञेयं घटादिलक्षणं ज्ञानेन ज्ञाता व्याप्तुमिच्छति तथा ज्ञानमपि ज्ञानान्तरेण ज्ञाता व्याप्तुमिच्छेत् न च एतदस्ति अतो अत्यंत प्रसिद्धं ज्ञानं ज्ञातापि अतएव प्रसिद्ध इति. Okay, so he says, okay, यथा ज्ञेयं घटादिलक्षणम. Okay, घटादिलक्षणम ज्ञेयम. You take some ghatam. For a change, let us take this pen as ghatam. Ghatam means any object. So you see, ghatam not necessarily, it need not necessarily refer to a pot. Ghatam means any object. And strictly speaking, it comes to the human body also. Human body is very often referred to as the ghata. So the human body, so the ghata. So just as this ghatam, ghatam yatha jneyam ghatadilakshanam, something like a pen or a ghatam. This is a jneyam. You want to know jnanena by means of jnana. Jnata means knower. Vyaptum ichhati. Vyaptum ichhati means V plus aptum ichhati. That is, he desires to know. Jnanena, he desires to know. Just as a person desires to know an object by means of knowledge. The overall meaning is that just as a knower desires to know a particular object by means of knowledge, in the same manner, tatha jnanamapi jnanantarena jnata vyaptumichet. Likewise, this jnanam also, jnanantarena, by some other jnanam, jnanantarena means by some other jnanam, jnata vyaptumichet. That is, a person would desire to know. Like a situation has to arise like that, but that is not happening. Nacha etadasti. Nacha etadasti means that is not happening. You simply cognize a thing and keep quiet. You don't say, okay, I have say known this through some jnana, and then this jnana, how do I know that there is a jnana? And then I don't want to inquire into that by means of another jnana. And if that arises, then again, in order to know that jnana, there I need another jnana. So there is an infinite regress or something like that. So it will go on up to infinity. So perception is something which happens, and we don't inquire. There is no jignasa, jignasa anupapatti. So there is no jignasa into that. There is no jignasa in the sense, I don't want to know by what knowledge I have cognized this pen. I don't want to know by what knowledge I cognized by this pen. If I want to know by what knowledge I cognized by this pen, this particular pen, I need another knowledge in order to cognize that particular knowledge. So is it okay? Yeah. So like that. Aprasiddham chet jnanam. Okay. Yatha jneyam ghatadilakshanam jnanena jnata vyapyamichhati. Just as a person desires to know a pen or something like that by virtue of a jnana, he is not desiring to know the jnanam itself. Jnanam, something happens. Directly it happens. Tatha jnanamapi jnanantarena vyaptumishet nacha etadasti. It is not happening like that. Then ataha, therefore, atyanta prasiddham jnanam. So jnanam is something which is so close, so immediate, so well known and so direct. Then jnata api atayeva prasiddha. So likewise, when jnanam is jnata, automatically when jnanam is direct, it is the person who knows. Jnata is something which is directly known. Jnata api prasiddha eva. He is the existence of that jnata need not be questioned. It doesn't come to be questioned. Prasiddha iti. Tasmat jnane yatno na kartavyah kintu anatma buddhi nivruttaveva. Fine, that also is okay. Anatmani atma buddhi nivruttaveva. Fine. Tasmat Jnananistha Susampadya.
Tasmat Jnananistha Susampadya.
So ultimately this is the point. The point is that there is no special effort to know yourself. The only effort you have to do is to discard what all you are not. There is no special effort which is required. Tasmat Jnane Yatnaha na kartavya. There is no need to very specifically try to know what exactly is your nature. What is not your nature, you try to reject. If once you reject what is not your nature, then you know what is your, automatically that you are, you become that. Kintu, tasmat jnane yatnaha na kartavyaha. There is no need to make a special effort to know what you are. Kintu, anatma buddhi nivruttaveva. Your book says anatmani atma buddhi nivruttaveva. Okay. So in this atma, you are, in anatma, you are having atma buddhi. You are having atma buddhi in the deha. We are having atma buddhi in prana, indriyas and so many things. So this atma buddhi in anatma has to be rejected. So that is what is that panchakosha vivaranam. Panchakosha, that is what is called pravilapa. Pravilapa means merging one into the other. Merging pravilapa is laya. Laya or pravilapa is merging one into the other. This pranamaya kosha, annamaya kosha, you are merging into pranamaya kosha. This pranamaya kosha, you are merging into manomaya kosha. This manomaya kosha, you are merging into vijnanamaya kosha. That into anandamaya kosha. That automatically merges into Brahman. So it is like that. So that is how this merging of one into the other, it automatically, that is, merging is what? Discarding. It is not that, not that, not that. So that is it. So tasmat jnananistha susampadya. Atma, anatmani, atma buddhi, nivrutti. That nivrutti means rejection. So that is what is needed. So in this manner, jnananistha is not something which is very, very difficult to attain. It is possible to attain for somebody who has attained self-discipline. Not everybody. This attaining self-discipline is the preliminary stage. After having attained self-discipline only one can attain this. So that is the picture. So now we have completed the bhashyam of 50th shloka. We will go to, I think, if in the next few shlokas they move fast. Again we will get stuck at some place, 66th shloka or something like that. Okay, Seyam jnanasya paranishta uchyate. Seyam jnanasya paranishta uchyate. Katham karya iti. Katham karya iti. Seyam means sa plus iyam. This same jnananishta, this particular jnananishta, that the supreme jnananishta about which we are talking about, katham karya, this nishta, how is it that we are going to achieve, how is it that we are going to get into that stage? Katham karya means, how is it that we are going to attain to reach that level? So then there is a shloka. Buddhya vishuddhaya yukto dhrutyatmanam niyamya cha shabdadin vishayan styaktva ragadvesha vyudasya cha. Okay, see here we are buddhya vishuddhaya yuktaha. So we are supposed to be associated with buddhi. And that buddhi is supposed to be vishuddha. Vishuddha means pure. Not impure, but it should be very, very pure. So this buddhi is something, okay, I will tell this shloka first. Buddhya vishuddhaya yuktaha means one who is associated with buddhi. Then dhrutya atmanam niyamyacha. With this dhruti, dhrutya means with this dhruti, by this dhruti, by this firmness and resoluteness of mind, Atmanam niyamyacha. Atmanam means the self body mind complex, niyamya, having kept it under proper control by proper dhruti. Then shabdadin vishayan styaktva. Shabda adi, shabda sparsha rupa rasa gandha. These are all the sense objects. These sense objects have to be rejected because once you get entangled in these sense objects, they are binding in nature. Bandha hetu. Shabdadi vishaya, they are all bandha hetu. So that is why the more you see, the more you go to a mall, the more you like to buy. So you go to a bigger mall, you want to buy more things. So it is like that. Shabdadin vishayan styaktva ragadvesha vyudasya cha. And then having rejected vyudasya, having rejected or discarded or kept away raga and dvesha. So this is not by simple withdrawal and isolating oneself and sitting in a corner, but by proper nitya viveka. You see, this Shabdadin Vishayan Tyaktva means not that you are confining yourself in a room and then just refusing to go out and all that, but still the mind is wandering. It's not like that. Then that again is supposed to be hypocrisy. the mind wanders on them, whereas physically indriyani samyamya ya aste manasa smaran indriyarthan vimudhatma, we have read it earlier. What is that shloka? Yes, indriyani samyamya ya aste manasa smaran. You keep on thinking about that mall and then what you have seen there and what you have seen in some particular film and things like that. So that is hypocrisy. So not in that manner. Niyama is by means of viveka, by means of nitya vastu viveka. Of course, from nitya vastu viveka we come to higher level, that is atmanatma viveka. So we are now talking about going into that level of atmanatma viveka. So shabdadin vishayan styaktva raga dvesha vyudasya, having rejected all this raga and dvesha. So for this buddhi and dhruti, we have to take the help of the earlier shlokas, because Lord Krishna, he has told what buddhi is, what dhruti is. Buddhi, satvika buddhi, he said. Buddher bhedam dhruteshchaiva. There is one shloka which we saw, 29th and 30th. So this buddhi, what is this satvika buddhi? It knows about this pravrutti dharma. It knows about that nivrutti dharma. Pravrittincha, nivrittincha, karya karye, bhaya bhaye. So it knows what is pravrutti and what is nivrutti, where exactly you will be free and where exactly you may be caught, and then what are the, what to fear and what not to fear. That is in bhaya bhaye, what to fear and what not to fear, and what is safe for the seeker. Bandham moksham chaya vetti. So this is something which is associated with viveka. So this buddhi is something that is reason, the faculty of reason. Buddhi is what is that? The faculty, mana, buddhi, chitta, ahankara, that is the fact. Adhyavasayatmika buddhi. Adhyavasaya means reasoning and faculty of establishing, faculty of deciding. So that is what is that buddhi, viveka buddhi. And in that viveka we are having the satvika buddhi, not the rajasa tamasa. So similarly, with buddhya vishuddhaya yuktaha, thereafter dhrutya atmanam niyamyacha. So we have also seen what is this dhruti. Dhruti, dhrutyaya dharayate manah pranendriya kriyaha yogena vyabhicharinya dhrutissa partha satviki, 33rd shloka. So dhrutya, by that dhruti, this here what is the thing which is told? This atma sanyama yoga, the self-control which is mentioned in the 6th chapter of Gita. Manaha, prana, indriya kriyaha, all the activities of all these things, activities of mind, prana and indriyas, all these things, yogena avyabhicharinya, you are focused, totally focused, avyabhicharini dhruti. So that is that type of dhruti, that is supposed to be the satvika dhruti. So for these two words, buddhi and dhruti, we have to go back and see what Krishna had told about them earlier. So that is the shloka. Let us see the bhashyam. Buddhya adhyavasayatmikaya vishuddhaya mayarahitaya yuktaha sampannaha dhrutya dhairyena atmanam karyakarana sanghatam niyamyacha niyamanam krutva vashikritya शब्दादीन शब्द आदि येषां ते शब्दादयः तान् विषयान् त्यक्त्वा सामर्थ्यात् शरीरस्थितिमात्रान् केवलान् मुक्त्वा. Fine, muktva. Okay, we'll stop there. Then buddhya. What is that? We know that buddhi is avasayatmika buddhi. Manas, sankalpa vikalpatmakam manaha. Buddhi, avasayatmika buddhi. Those definitions we have to remember. So, buddhi is adhyavasayatmika. That is that faculty of determining, that faculty of deciding. And when do we decide? It is only when we do some preliminary examination of a thing, some preliminary assessment of whether something is good or bad. Only then you decide whether it is good or bad. So here we are doing this viveka buddhi. This viveka means what is self, what is non-self. So that sort of viveka. Adhyavasayatmikaya. Then vishuddhaya, Shankaracharya says, maya rahitaya. Without any guile, without any deception, it should be pure, that pure buddhi. That is, we have seen earlier, pravrittincha, nivrittincha, karya karye, bhaya bhaye. So all that we have to keep in mind when we talk of buddhi. Then yuktaha means sampannaha, the one who is associated with that. Then dhrutya, what is this dhruti? Dhairyena, that resoluteness of mind. What is that dhruti? That sattvika dhruti. Yogena avyabhicharinya, we are supposed to focus on that. Manah kayendriya kriyaha, all the activities of the mind, body and say indriyas. And we are supposed to be firmly established in that avyabhicharini dhruti. So that is it. Then Atmanam, that is Karya Karana Sanghatam. Karya Karana Sanghata is this body mind complex. Karya and Karana Sanghatam. Niyamyacha, that is having controlled, Niyamanam Krutva. Then Shabdadin. Shabdadi means Shabda Adihi Yesham. Starting with Adihi Yesham is starting with Shabda. Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, all those 5 things. Tan, Tyaktva, having rejected. Then Samarthyat. Samarthyat means by context. In this particular context, we have to, in Samarthya, whenever this word Samarthya comes, Samarthya means in this context. This context, what does it mean? Sharira sthiti matran kevalan muktva. After all, this man also has to sustain his body. He needs some food, he needs some water, so some basic amenities to survive. So excluding those which are needed for basic survival of a human being. Excluding those which are needed for survival of the person. Sharira sthiti. Sthiti means existence. Sthiti means existence or sustenance. Sthiti matra. Sthiti matran kevalan. Muktva. Muktva means just excluding. Excluding only those which are mukti normally means release. Exclude. Then normally that is it. Removing. Here muktva means excluding. Excluding those activities which are needed for basic maintenance of the body. Then tataha tatodhikan sukharthan tyaktva ityarthaha. Okay, beyond that, tatodhikan means beyond that, all these sukharthan, all other all other pursuits for sukhas and all that, tyaktva, having rejected all that, having given up all that. Then sharira sthityarthatvena prapteshu cha. Sharira sthityarthatvena prapteshu cha. Ragadveshav yudasya cha parityajya. Ragadveshav yudasya cha parityajya. So it may so happen that even when you are confining yourself to bare minimum needs or basic needs, there may be some situation where even that is deprived. You are having some loin cloth, somebody takes away that loin cloth also, or you are having some little bit of water, somebody takes away that water also. So that raga and dvesha, you should not entertain even there. Sharira sthityarthatvena prapteshu cha. Even in those things which are prapta, means something which is attained, basically for the sustenance of this body, even in them, Ragadveshav yudasya. You should not say that, okay, today I have got nice food, today I have got some stupid food. Even this bhikshatanam, we are talking about a yati who is doing some bhikshatanam. So the person who is all these things, when we see, these are all sannyasi dharmas and not grihastha dharmas. So we have to see that we are now talking about siddhim prapto yatha brahma tathapnoti. So once you have attained this jnana lakshana yogyata, you are now going to this jnana nishtha. So now we are talking about somebody who is giving up everything. Next shloka he is going to say vivikta sevi, laghvashi, etc., etc. So we are now talking about the context of a sannyasi, paramahamsa parivrajaka. That word also Shankaracharya is going to say. So we are talking about that. So we are gradually, these shlokas are taking to that. And Krishna is demonstrating before Arjuna, this is one particular ideal, but ultimately he says your duty is not this. So anyway, so this sharira sthiti sthityarthatvena prapteshu cha, even among them, you should not say, okay, today I have got some nice bhiksha. In some rich man's house, I have got a very nice bhiksha. Some other day, some stupid bhiksha. This soup was not good. This something else was not good. Raga, dvesha, yadasya. Having rejected that, parityajya. Then tataha means thereafter. Vivikta sevi laghvashi. Yata vakkaya manasaha. Dhyana yoga paro nityam.
ध्यानयोगपरो नित्यं
वैराग्यं समुपाश्रितः.
वैराग्यं समुपाश्रितः.
So vivikta sevi, vivikta, viveka we know, viveka is discrimination. So vivikta means having properly discriminated. That is the literal meaning is that viveka, something which is born out of viveka is vivikta, isn't it? The etymology, strictly speaking, that is that after proper discrimination. Then what is it? What type of place is it? Vivikta desha. Vivikta desha means something which you have specially chosen. Something. What is that specially chosen? Some isolated place where you have some solitude. If you go and sit in some mall and then if you want to do some pranayama, if you want to do some nididhyasana, it is not possible. You can't do nididhyasanam in a pub. You have to only do nididhyasanam in some ashram type of place where you have to go and sit quietly in some corner, and then you have to start meditating. You have to start speculating on this, and having, of course, if you are a samsari, not necessarily, it is not necessary that we have to take sannyasi only, but of course Shankaracharya is going to interpret in, say, referring to a sannyasi only. But even as a samsari, even as a grihastha, even we can select some such place, some isolated place where you can just go sit for some time and meditate. So that is also what is needed. It is not only for sannyasi that meditation is prescribed. Meditation is prescribed for all of us, not necessarily for sannyasi. So vivikta sevi. So that you have to identify such a place and then go to some such isolated place where it is there is some congenial atmosphere, some suitable ambience, as we say, suitable ambience for meditation, for this dhyana, for this nididhyasana. So that is the point. Vivikta sevi. Sevi means one who has that, say, it becomes his very nature. It becomes his very nature to select, go and sit in such places. Vivikta sevi. Vivikta sevin. In grammar you must have come across this nini pratyaya. Nini pratyaya, it tells about the Sheelam. Tachilya Ninihi, there is some Panini Sutra. That Sheelam, Vivikta Desha, Vivikta Sevi, Laghvasi is also there like that. Vivikta Sevi, Vivikta Sevin, that is Nini, that is to select such places is his nature. It becomes his aptitude. He has got an aptitude to go and sit in such places. So that is the meaning. Then Laghvashi, Laghu means light eater. Light eater. Laghu, L-I-G-H-T, Laghu, L-I-G-H-T and Laghu, they are totally cognate words. Laghvashi, Ashana, Ashana you know, Ashana means Ashnati, eats. Laghvashi means one who eats less. And also Laghvashi, that Nini Pratyaya is there here also. That means by nature he eats less. He is not a glutton. He is a person who is light eater, let us say. Is there a word for light eater? Glutton we have got. Then gourmet we have got, connoisseur we have got, another, is there a word for light eater? I don't know. Anyway, light, let us say light eater. Then yata vak kaya manasaha. Yata means niyata, controlled. One whose mind, vak, that is organ of speech, kaya, body, and manasa. This trikarana shuddhi we say. Trikarana is mano vak kaya. Mano vak kaya, that is mind, vak and kaya, body. So these three, yata vak kaya manasaha, the one all these three are under control. Then dhyana yoga paraha. Then this dhyana yoga, we are now in the context of nididhyasana. We are not in the basic level of dhyana, we are in a higher level of dhyana, that is nididhyasana. So nididhyasana yoga again means concentration, fixed in that dhyana yoga paraha. One who has attained that stability, one who has attained that samadhi in nididhyasana. So that sort of person, nityam, not once in a way, but every day, always. Not once in a way, but always you have to be in that frame of mind. Vairagyam samupashritaha. Vairagyam, viragasya bhavaha. That is non-attachment. That is vairagyam is non-attachment. Vairagyam samupashritaha. Sam plus upa plus ashritaha. Samupashritaha. One who has taken refuge under that policy of, say, dispassion. Vairagyam is dispassion. Samupashritaha, one who has taken refuge under the policy of that dispassion. So that is the literal meaning of that word. Let us see the Bhashyam. विविक्त सेवी
विविक्तसेवी
अरण्य नदी पुलिन गिरिगुहादीन
अरण्य नदी पुलिन गिरिगुहादी
विविक्तान् देशान् सेवितुं शीलम् अस्य इति विविक्त सेवी
विविक्तान् देशान् सेवितुं शीलम् अस्य इति विविक्तसेवी
लघ्वाशी लघ्वशनशीलः
लघ्वाशी लघ्वशनशीलः
विविक्त सेवा लघ्वशनयोः
विविक्तसेवा लघ्वशनयोः
निद्रादिदोषनिवर्तकत्वेन
निद्रादिदोषनिवर्तकत्वेन
चित्तप्रसादहेतुत्वात् ग्रहणम्
चित्तप्रसादहेतुत्वात् ग्रहणम्.
So Vivikta Sevi, Shankaracharya says Aranya. In olden days, just you go out a couple of kilometers and you will get a forest from the village. You just go out, you will see a forest. So some such place, isolated place, Aranya, where this Rana is not there. Rana is all this sounds, all unnecessary sounds of people. Rana, Aranya, Nadi Pulina. Nadi is river. Nadi Pulina is that river river banks where there is a lot of sand. And usually, if you have seen in olden days, I used to see people used to go and sit in that sand. There was some water flowing, and then near that sand, people go and then Shankaracharya, there again he is sitting in that Nadi Pulina. So like that. So Nadi Pulina. So the river bank. Then Giri Guhadin. Giri Guha means Giri is a hill or a mountain, whatever it is. Mountain cave. Guha is cave. Giri Guha means mountain caves. Then like something like the Giri Guha Adi and such other. Vivikta Deshan Sevitum Shilamasya. It is his nature to select such places and go and then sit in a sit in a state of solitude. So he is somebody who is a solitude lover, let us say. Some solitude lover. Then Vivikta Sevi. Then Laghvashi is a light eater. Laghu Ashana Shilaha. This also it is his Shilam. Shilam means nature. It is his aptitude. His very nature is that. Laghvashana Shilaha. Then Vivikta Seva Laghvashanayoho. Why are these 2 points taken? Vivikta Seva and Laghvashanam. Why? Nidradi dosha nivartakatvena. Nidra adi. So in places where there is no solitude, there is a lot of disturbance. In places where there is no solitude, you find lot many people coming, going, and then talking and all that. So there is a lot of disturbance and distraction. And then if you eat too much, then you feel sleepy. You eat too much and then you feel sleepy. So that is it. Nidradi. So he has not mentioned particularly the distractions and all that. So Nidra Adi he says. Nidra Adi, Nidra etc. Nidra Adi dosha nivartakatvena. So in order to avoid all these doshas, in order to avoid all these defects, dosha means all these pitfalls or defects, all these obstacles, let us say dosha here in this context we can say obstacle, all these obstacles, nivartakatvena, in order to reject all those things. And also chitta prasada hetutvat. On one hand it rejects all these obstacles, and on the other it will also cause you chitta prasada. So there is no need to quarrel with somebody's wife and with your wife, and then say if you stay at home, all these contingencies will be there. You have to manage your children, you have to do this, you have to do that. So somebody goes there and then he sits there quietly and then he will practice. Of course, if we are talking of a sannyasi, it is for him there is no such distraction at all. So Nidradi dosha nivartakatvena chitta prasada hetutvat. There are two reasons. One is removing obstacles. The other is chitta prasada. That is, it attains that inner tranquility of mind. Chitta prasada. Prasada means prakarshena sidanam. That is happily settled. That is without any distraction. Without any distraction, it is so cool, settled inwardly, inward balance, let us say. That chitta prasada, that is inward silence, inward balance, hetutvat. So these Vivikta Seva and Laghvashanam are causes for that. Then yata vakkaya manasaha.
Yata vakkaya manasaha.
Vakcha kayascha manasamcha yatani sanyatani yasya jnananishtasya.
Vakcha kayascha manasamcha yatani samyatani yasya jnananishtasya.
Sajnananishtaha yatihi.
Sajnananishtaha yatihi.
Yata vakkaya manasa syat.
यतवाक्काय मानसस्यात्.
Okay, yata vakaya manasa is vak, kaya and manasam. All these three things. Yatani means sanyatani, well under control. Yasya jnananishtasya. The one who is having that jnananishta and one who is having control on these three, say, karanas, then that particular man is called yata vakaya manasa. Then evam uparata sarvakaranas san.
एवं उपरतः सर्वकर्मणः सन्
ध्यानयोगपरः
ज्ञानयोगपरः
न
ध्यानयोगपरः
ध्यानम् आत्मस्वरूपचिन्तनं योगः आत्मस्वरूपविषये एव एकाग्रीकरणं तौ ध्यानयोगौ परत्वेन कर्तव्यौ यस्य स ध्यानयोगपरः. So we know the word, meaning of the word para. Para means something which is supreme. Dhyana yoga para means one who considers that the dhyana yoga is the supreme. Dhyana yoga is the supreme objective, supreme thing which I have to follow, supreme path I have to follow. So that is what is explained. Dhyana yoga para means dhyanam. What type of dhyanam? Atma Swarupa Chintanam. We are now doing this Shravana level, it is over, Manana level and Nididhyasana level we are doing. Manana level also is over and then Nididhyasana level we are doing. Atma Swarupa Chintanam, the Atma Anusandhanam. Yoga Atma Swarupa Vishaye eva Ekagrikaranam. Dhyana Yoga, there are two things. Dhyana and Yoga. Dhyana means Atma Swarupa Chintanam. And not for 1 second and then my mind diverting to something else. Ekagrikaranam becomes yoga. Yoga means continuously being associated with that. So that is why we have got karma yoga, bhakti yoga, jnana, this atma sanyama yoga, etc., etc. What is that yoga? That yoga is it is a strategy. That strategy you are continuously sticking on to that strategy. Karma yoga means every activity I do, every minute I am to be aware that I am working as an instrument of God. Bhakti yoga is something slightly different attitude. Atma Sanyama Yoga is another different attitude. So all these things, they are called yoga because there is a focus on all these things. There is a focus. So that is why Dhyana Yoga, when you say Dhyana Yoga, you are having that focus on that Nididhyasana. Yoga Atma Swarupa Vishaye eva Ekagrikaranam Tau Dhyana Yogau. Tau Dhyana Yogau Paratvena Kartavyau. They have to be done as a matter of supreme importance. Paratvena, something which is matter of supreme importance. Parasya bhavaha paratvam, isn't it? Paratvena means parasya bhavaha. That is the notion that they are the most, that is the most important thing. I have to do it. I have to follow it. Paratvena kartavya vyasya sa dhyana yoga paraha. Then nityam nityagrahanam. Mantra japad yanya kartavya bhava darshanartham. Okay, so now nitya grahanam. Why is this nitya? Grahanam means taking that word. Nitya grahanam means nitya shabdasya grahanam. That's all. There is no grahanam or solar eclipse or anything here. Grahanam does not mean eclipse. Nitya grahanam means the taking of this word, mention of this word nityam. What for? Mantra japadi anya kartavya bhava. So now somebody will say, okay, I am doing dhyanam, and then he is doing some mantram or japam. He is reciting some mantra, he is doing some japa. Tad japas tadartha bhavanam, not in that sense, but japa. Some people keep on doing some japa. Take a japamala and then you are doing that japa. Your hand is moving, your tongue is moving, but mind is also moving elsewhere. So that is what there is one Kabir ke dohe. Mala to hath mein firai. That is, in this hand, mala to firai. Jeebh firai mukhamahi. Jeebh means the tongue. In this mouth, the tongue also is moving. Jeebh firai mukhamahi. Manuvato dasadisi firai. The mind is moving in all 10 directions. Dasadisi firai. Yahto sumarin nahi. This is not smarana. That is what he says. So like that, here we are not talking about mantra, japadi, anya kartavya bhava darshanartham. You are not supposed to do this mantra, japa, etc. You are only supposed to do chintanam on Atma Swarupa. We are supposed to do chintana on Atma Swarupa only. And while doing chintana on Atma Swarupa, it is not associated with any mantra japa or anything like that. Because all this mantra japa again, they are all kamya karmas only. They are again these are again obstacles for jnana. They are basically obstacles for jnana. So that is it. Then vairagyam viraga bhavaha.
Vairagyam viraga bhavaha.
Drushta društeshu vishayeshu vaitrushnyam.
Drushta društeshu vishayeshu
vaitrushnyam samupashritah.
Vaitrushnyam samupashritah.
Samyag upashritah.
Samyak upashritah.
Nityameva ityarthah.
Nityameva ityarthah.
Vairagyam, we know this word viraga bhavaha. Viragasya bhavaha vairagyam. Then drushta adrushteshu vishayeshu. In what all matters? Drushta vishayeshu, adrushta vishayeshu. That is things of this world and things of the other world. So whether it is abhyudaya here or abhyudaya in some other heavenly world, in all these things, vaitrushnyam, that is devoid of trushna, is vaitrushnyam. Vegata trushna, that is vaitrushnyam. Trushna is desire, we know. Vaitrushnyam is devoid, avoid this the rejection of trushna. That is devoid, one who is devoid of trushna, or the state in which that trushna is not there, absence of trushna. Vaitrushnyam samupashritah means having say taken refuge, and under that upashritah, samyak upashritah nityameva, always in that state of mind. Then kincha, next another sloka. Ahankaram balam darpam.
Ahankaram balam darpam.
Kamam krodham parigraham.
Kamam krodham parigraham.
Vimuchya nirmamashyanto.
Vimuchya nirmamashyanto.
Brahma bhuyaya kalpate.
Brahma bhuyaya kalpate.
So ahankaram balam darpam. These again are obstacles. Ahankara, balam, darpam, all these things again are obstacles. And these things, we are now talking about a sannyasi, dhyana yoga paraha, etc., vairagyam samupashritaha, etc., etc. Then a question may arise, where is the question of ahankara? Already this fellow has gone through all these things, and then self-discipline is there. But then ahankara can also be there. Ahankara, you see, Madhusudana Saraswati says, ahankara mahakula prasutoham mahatam shishyoha ativiraktosmi nasti dvitiyo matsamaha. This is the picture. You see, ahankaraha mahakula prasutoham. I am from such a great family. All my great grandfathers and father grandfathers, all those people were brahmajnanis, brahmalinas. They are all now we come across all these words. Oh, he was a brahmalina. So all these people are brahmalinas. Then mahatam shishyaha. I am student of such and such a great teacher. Ati viraktosmi. I am highly great viragi. So that sort of ahankara. So ahankara can be of several types. This is all the spiritual pride or hubris as we call it. There is a good English word called hubris. 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 So ahankaram. The balam also the same thing. The strength of all these things. Strength which is associated. Asadagraham. So then this sort of thing, asadagraham. Then darpam. Darpam again is some sort of arrogance. So when you feel that, oh, you are a great tapasvi and whatnot, you also tend to develop some little bit of arrogance. So that sort of arrogance also should not be there. Balam, darpam. Then kamam, krodham, parigraham. Desire, krodham. Of course, desire and krodham. What else is there? Anything he says? Kamam, vishaya, bhilasham. Okay, normal meaning only is there. Vairagyam, samupashritaha. Okay. Kamam, krodham, dvesham. Okay. So kamam, krodham. Again, any desire or any hatred, anything. Then parigraham. Parigraha is accepting something from somebody. You see, because it is one of the Brahmana dharmas. A Brahmana, yajanam, then adhyapanam, adhyayanam, yajanam, all these things are there, and also parigraham. Parigraham is accepting from others. So this gentleman Brahmana, he was supposed to live by taking say bhiksha or accepting from other people. So here again parigraha. This parigraha by way of money or by way of any other thing, apart from this need for the basic maintenance of the body, one should not take more. So that is the parigraham. Then vimuchya. Vimuchya means having rejected them all. Muncha dhatu. Muncha means to exclude, to remove. So vimuchya, having removed all those things. Then nirmamaha. Mama means mine. Nirmamaha means that notion of mine is not there. That mineness has gone. Then shantaha. Shamadhatu. Antarindriya nigraha, the entire, so totally subdued mind. Such a person, Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate. Brahma Bhuyaya means Brahma Bhavanaya. In order to become Brahma, he becomes Kalpate. Kalpate means Samartho Bhavati. He becomes eligible. He becomes fit for such a thing. Ahankaram, Balam, Darpam, etc. etc. So having rejected all those things, and then Nirmamaha, Shantaha, so such a person, he is fit to become Brahma. So he has not yet become Brahma, he is fit to become Brahma, that's all. So we are now talking about a Paroksha Jnani only. Still we are talking about a Paroksha Jnani only. How can we say that? Because in another sloka, in the next sloka, he is going to say, Tato mam tatvato jnatva vishate tadanantaram bhaktya mam abhijanati. He is going to say, Lord Krishna is going to say that such a person, ahankaram, balam, darpam, having rejected all that thing, then again you have to catch hold of bhakti also. You have to have that sense of bhakti or devotion. With that, you are reaching me, you are entering me. Vishate, pravishati. So that is what he is saying. So which means here we are talking about a Paroksha Jnani, and the next level, once you attain that bhakti also, then you attain him fully, that is Aparoksha Jnani. So that is the higher level. So anyway, this particular sloka is like this. So one has to reject spiritual pride, balam, darpam, etc., etc., and then that notion of I-ness and all, notion of mine, etc., all those things. Let us see the Bhashyam. Ahankaram, ahankaranam.
Ahankaram, ahankaranam.
Ahankaro dehendriyadishu.
Ahankaro dehendriyadishu.
Tam. Balam samarthyam.
Balam samarthyam.
Kama ragadi yuktam.
Kama ragadi yuktam.
Na itarat shariradi samarthyam.
Na itarat shariradi samarthyam.
Swabhavikatvena tyagasya ashakyatvat.
त्यागस्य अशक्यत्वात्
दर्पो नाम हर्षानंतर भावी धर्मातिक्रम हेतुः हृष्टो द्रुप्यति द्रुप्तः धर्ममतिक्रामति इति स्मरणात् तं च. Okay, we will stop here. So here kinch ahankaranam is taking pride. Ahankaranam is taking pride. Ahankaranam. Then ahankaraha dehendriyadishu. In one's own body, indriyas, I am such a person, I have control, I have got great self-control, etc., etc. Then balam, what type of balam is it? Kamaragadi yuktam balam. Then I am having control on this kama, raga, etc., etc. Na itarat shariradi samarthyam. So we are not talking about the physical strength, we are talking about the mental strength, we are talking about the spiritual strength in the case of say a seeker. So that spiritual strength, that is one who has controlled this kama, raga, etc., etc. Kama, raga, adi yuktam. Then swabhavikatvena tyagasya ashakyatvat. Then this tyaga is something. Then this, what is this line? Samarthyam swabhavikatvena tyagasya ashakyatvat. Swabhavikatvena kimiti visheshavachanam ityaha samanya matre bare balashuddhi kimiti visheshavachanam ityaha swabhavikatvena uktirthe yatnamaha. Swabhavikatvena tyagasya ashakyatvat. What is the connection here? Samanya matre balashuddhi ahankaranam iti balashabdam upalabhyamane. Okay, this particular line I will just see later. Darpaha. Darpo nama harshanantara bhavi dharmatikrama hetuhu. Darpa means arrogance. How is this arrogance? How does arrogance come? Once you attain something, you attain a position, and then you are enjoying that position, and once you are enjoying that position, then you feel rather proud, isn't it? So that is what he says. Harsha anantara bhavi. Harsha anantara bhavi means something which arises in your mind after you are happy. Harsha anantara. Harsha is happiness. Harsha anantara bhavi. Something that arises in your mind after you are happy. Then okay, suppose your son attains some distinction or something like that. You are happy, and then you take pride, and then you say tell everybody and look down on somebody else. So that sort of arrogance. Harsha anantara bhavi. Then dharma atikrama hetuhu. So in the case of some politician's son, let us say, some politician he has attained, he has achieved, he has amassed say about 100 crores or some 1,000 crores. So that man, dharma atikrama hetu, he becomes arrogant, and then dharma atikrama means violating dharma. Atikrama means violation of dharma. Violation of dharma, because arrogance is something which tends to or encourages you to violate dharma. You are a politician's son and you don't bother for the traffic cop. So that is the point. The traffic cop, you go and abuse the traffic cop, and then you go and say shout at a traffic cop if he wants to give a ticket. So something like that. Dharma atikrama hetuhu. Then he is quoting from some dharma shastra. Hrushto drupyati, drupto dharmam atikramati. Hrushtaha drupyati. One who is happy like that, one who is happy because of some achievement, drupyati, he becomes arrogant. Hrushto drupyati. And then once one drupta, and druptaha means one who is arrogant. Druptaha, dharmam atikramati. He tends to transgress. He tends to transgress dharma. He tends to violate dharma. So that is it. Dharmam atikramati iti smaranat. Smaranat means because that Smruti says like that. Tamcha, tamapi. That darpam also one has to reject. Then kamam ichham, krodham dvesham, parigraham indriya manogata dosha parityagepi, sharira dharana prasangena, dharmanusthana nimittena va, बाह्यः परिग्रहः प्राप्तः तं च विमुच्य परित्यज्य परमहंस परिव्राजको भूत्वा देह जीवन मात्रेपि निर्गत मम भावः निर्ममः अतएव शान्तः उपरतः यः संस्कृत संहृतायासः यतिः ज्ञाननिष्ठः ब्रह्मभूयाय ब्रह्मभवनाय कल्पते समर्थो भवति. So you can see the amount of the very strict regimen which these people had, because we always think that all our ancestors, they were very happy. All these say the people enjoyed, and then these people, they were so superior and whatnot. This is the real nature of a Brahmana who is actually renouncing. So this Brahmana who is actually renouncing is this chap. He has to totally reject his self. Totally, apart from physical maintenance of the body, earlier we saw. Here, even that, earlier shloka said, Sharira sthitimatran kevalam muktva. So, but here, there is a higher level, even there. So, let me read this line. Number one, kamam, ichham, kamam is desire, krodham, dvesham. Then having rejected. Then parigraham, indriya manogata dosha parityagepi. So all the doshas, indriya doshas and manogata doshas, he has rejected. Indriya doshas means desire and getting attached to things. Manogata dosha, longing for that. All these things he has rejected. Manogata dosha parityagepi. Then sharira dharana prasangena, because he has to maintain his body. In the context of maintenance of his body, dharmanusthana nimittena va, or even there are some sannyasi dharmas, and even for the sake of sannyasi dharma anusthana nimittena, in order to execute those dharmas, sannyasi dharmas also, then bahya parigraha praptaha, some little bit of acceptance from outside is there involved in that. Bahya parigraha praptaha means some little bit of acceptance from outside is built into that, even in a sannyasi, even for a sannyasi dharma. Tamcha vimuchya, even that you have to discard. Tamcha, even that you have to remove. Vimuchya parityajya. Paramahamsa parivrajako bhutva. Then we don't exactly know what exactly is the Paramahamsa parivrajaka dharma. We have to go see those Paramahamsa parivrajaka dharmas. Because these people, number one, parivraja is somebody like a Shuka Maharshi. Paritaha vrajati. They don't stay in a particular place. They are not supposed to. Godohana matram. That is only the time taken in order to milk a cow, maybe about 5 to 10 minutes. He is supposed to stay in a place for about 10 minutes and then move on. So that is the type of life they were supposed to lead. So, Paramahamsa Parivrajaka Bhutva, Paramahamsa, that is, Hamsa Shabda, we know. Hamsa is something which only takes, he separates that milk from, say, the water. So, Paramahamsa, that is something he is always conscious of what he is seeing and what he is, say, taking in. So, that type of person, Parivrajaka Bhutva. And now comes the most serious line, Deha Jivana Matrepi Nirgatamama Bhavaha. Even in the matter of maintenance of one's own body, Deha Jivana Matrepi, even in the matter of maintaining one's own body, Nirgata Mama Bhavaha, that Mama feeling is gone. That Mama feeling is totally rejected. Atayeva Shantaha Uparataha. So in fact, we come across such people in Bhagavatam, such characters we come across. For example, Jadabharata. Jadabharata, in the last janma, towards the final janma, even he becomes that, he almost moves like a madman. So, Jadabharata is one such. And you can find some such characters, some such people in Bhagavatam. Then, yaha samhruta ayasaha. Samhruta ayasaha. Ayasa means any effort. Ayasa. Samhruta ayasaha means upasamhruta. Samhruta, upasamhruta, that is withdrawn. All types of efforts he has given up. He has given up all types of efforts in order to maintain his body also. That is samhrutaya saha yatihi jnananishtaha. So this particular yati, jnananishtaha, brahma bhuyaya, brahma bhavanaya, means in order to become Brahma. Kalpate means samartho bhavati. He becomes fit to become Brahman. Then anena kramena brahma bhutaha, brahma praptaha, प्रसन्नात्मा लब्धा आध्यात्म प्रसादः न शोचति. Okay, we have to read the shloka first. Yeah, there is no avatarika. So let us read the shloka. ब्रह्मभूतः प्रसन्नात्मा न शोचति न काङ्क्षति समः सर्वेषु भूतेषु मद्भक्तिं लभते पराम्. Okay, such person, Brahmabhutah. So here Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate, he said Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate means Brahma Praptaha. Brahma Bhutaha means Brahma Praptaha. That is, even here the commentator, sub-commentator says, even here we are talking about a Paroksha Jnani, because in the next shloka he is going to say Bhaktyamama Bhijanati. So if we have to read these two things together, we should think that this man is still at a slightly lower level. And then the next shloka, that is 55th shloka, is talking about the highest level, that is Aparoksha Jnani. So here Brahma Bhutaha, Prasannatma, one who has attained that quietude of mind, that is inner composure, inner calmness. Inner calmness, how does it come? Only when you feel yourself Purnatvam, one who has realized that Purnatvam in him. Quietude basically due to Purnatvam. So such a man, there is no need to think about anything. Na shochati, na kankshati. There is no need to desire, there is no need to worry, there is no need, shochati means he doesn't worry, he doesn't desire, na kankshati. Then samaha sarveshu bhuteshu, that is, he is somebody, this samas sarveshu bhuteshu, Shankaracharya is dividing, he is seeing two levels in this. There is one level is Atma Upamya level. Atma Upamyena Sarvatra. We have seen one shloka earlier in the 5th chapter or something like that. Atma Upamyena Sarvatra Samam Pashyati, etc. Atma Upamyam means comparing oneself with the other, or comparing the other fellow with one's own self. Suppose when you are doing something to somebody, you have to compare what, put him in your put yourself in his shoes, put yourself in somebody else's shoes, and then see what you are doing is right or wrong. You are doing something to him. Suppose the same thing happens to me, how do I feel? That is Atma Upamyam. That is Atma Upama Yatra. That is comparing one's own self, that is putting oneself in his shoes. So that is what is called Atma Upamyam. So this is one level. The higher level is Samas Sarveshu Bhuteshu. Higher level is seeing Brahman everywhere. So there are two levels which Shankaracharya is distinguishing here, because there are two shlokas. Lord Krishna is making creating problems for Shankaracharya. That is Samas Sarveshu Bhuteshu. He has used two different shlokas. So this particular Samadarshana is not the Samadarshana of the highest level, that is where one sees Brahman everywhere. It is a slightly lower level Samadarshana, where you are putting yourself in the shoes of others and then you are comparing yourself with others. So that is what he is going to distinguish. So that is, this level is not the Sarvatma Bhava level, but this Atma Upamya level. There are two levels. One is Atma Upamya level and the other is Sarvatma Bhava level. So this Atma Upamya level, Samaha Sarveshu Bhuteshu, then such a person, Mad Bhaktim Labhate Param. So such a man automatically becomes my Bhakta. How? Arto Jignasur Artharthi Jnani cha Bharatarshava, isn't it? There are 4 people who come to me. Who are they? Chaturvidha Bhajante Mam Jana Sukritino Arjuna Arto Jignasu Artharthi Jnani cha. So Jnani, the highest level of Jnana will automatically lead you to Bhakti. Bhakti means not in a dual sense. Bhakti not in the dual sense. That Ananya Bhakti. That is just desiring to know the truth, desiring to become that. So that sort of Ananya Bhakti is that. So Samas Sarveshu Bhuteshu Mad Bhaktim Labhate. He automatically attains that Bhakti, not in the sense of duality, but in the sense of non-duality. So we'll see in the next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Avashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.